Hey there, this is our first time meeting. I'm Kenny here with Jeremy, and welcome to I Too Can Be Evil. And our question for the day, or at least our topic for the topic for today is is euthanizing pet fish moral?
Yeah, is it okay to kill your pet fish for any reason at all? I will say that what I have in mind though is my stepdad has these big old carnivorous fish they call Oscars, and they're cool like for about 5 minutes. That they have this like hard food that you can give them. It's almost like cereal, and you can hear them like crunching on it. It's the weirdest thing. And so there's a novelty to it, but I was over him within the first 10 minutes or so. And I get the feeling that at this point he's over them as well because they are a pain to take care of and a pain to clean.
Oh wow, they
Uh,
look gross, or at least they look aggressive. They look like, yeah.
yeah, the tank is a pain to look at. It's like black now. They're just kind of forgotten. I think he feeds them every day, but yeah. So they're just trying to figure out like is it okay to just get rid of them? How would you do that? Because I don't even think they're certainly not native to Arizona. You couldn't release them anywhere here. They're not saltwater, but you couldn't just throw them into a pond. They would eat the other fish, and they live for like a decade or more. And so, what do? Do you have to take care of them now? I guess you could try to sell them, but if nobody's buying, then what do you? Is it okay to slaughter your
Oh,
fish?
they're a type of chichilids. I think I've owned them too.
Yes, it's like that. We've got the food that says that on it, and again, cool, but they're big. You got to take care of them. You got to clean up after them, and they're. How do you get rid of them? I don't know, but is it okay to just kill them? I couldn't resolve that. I still don't really know. So we're going to employ our only method of determining the morality of this decision with this coin right here. So,
Wait,
if
before you flip it, is it fish in general or your fish that we're gonna
no
talk about today?
fish in general, we want some moral principles here.
All right.
So, if it's heads, then that means I defend that it's okay to euthanize fish. If it's tails, that means that Kenny defends that. And here we go. We need a coin cam. That's our next investment. Here we go. That's heads. That means that I defend that it's okay. All right. Well, that'll be cathartic at the very least.
Wow. So I have to say that it's not okay. Okay.
Yeah, there's a bit of a reversal here. All right, here we go. Who goes first? If it's heads, then I go first. That's tails. Kenny goes first this week.
Right.
Thank heavens.
So
have at it.
Is it? Can it be more of a Q&A? Like, okay. So do you guys have a name for it?
Do we? Shoot. I think one of them is it Caesar? No,
Okay,
Brutus.
that's all I needed to know. I didn't need to know the name, but I wanted to know if you guys named.
They do have names.
So fish. We're not talking about any type of fish, but we're talking about pet fishes, meaning that they have some sort of endearment to, I guess, raising it. I don't know about in your case, but is euthanizing any pet moral, or is it, or how about even people if they no longer serve use or stuff like that? Anyway, when you get to, I mean, we can talk about PETA and their stances, but I'd rather not. So let's take it slow and use our personal experiences and stuff like that to come together. And I think when you, I don't even know why you're trying to kill your fish. I mean, euthanizing a fish, that's, first of all, we're not talking about an ill fish or, we're talking about any fish, right? So if you wanted to go that route, I guess I oh wow. Wait, this got really complicated at the same time, because if we talk about every single fish, does that contain, I guess, I don't want to be like fish that
anything
people
you
eat.
can raise, like if you got pet trout.
So it's just a pet fish, right? So, oh, okay. When you want to put it in that, oh, because pet fish. So when you want to put it in that category, pet is no longer what do you call it? Like one of those words where it's very distant, it's very close to your heart. I mean, for example, I have a dog with me, I guess, right now, and he's having a hard time doing anything, like functioning basically because he can't walk anymore because he's elderly. And a lot of people think that it's a good idea to put the dog down, because they no longer have a quality of life, and it's one of those issues where it might, because they think it's suffering too much. But even in that sense, I think it's immoral to put down a dog, because you know what, he's a part of the family. And when you're talking about a pet fish, we're not talking about wild salmon that caught, or farmed cod. It's there for a purpose, there for, I don't know. It depends how much time you spent with the fish and how close you got to it. But just because you don't want it anymore, um, can you actually should you kill it? And if that, I mean, if we were to allow that to happen, and if you think that's moral, then what happens to other type of pets? For example, um, we're, when we're euthanizing something, we think it's a very, what do you call it? Oh, um, it's a humane thing to do, but
Hmm.
is it humane to kill something just because you no longer want it?
Yeah, and that's a fair question. That's ultimately what's up for debate here. Um, right. So it's interesting that there seems to be a line that we draw when we call it a pet, right? It didn't seem to bother us so much when we eat something that's been caught specifically for that purpose. Um, but for some reason, we call it a pet and things change. But I wonder how well that dictates like actual moral principles, general moral principles, because the fish doesn't know that it's a pet, especially fish. I mean, like with a dog, there's a there's like a personality there. There's a sense of betrayal when you kill it. But with a fish, like especially these fish that my stepdad's got, or really any fish, like try and pet that thing, like bond with that thing. It doesn't care about you. It's more likely to just bite your fingers off, because that's a hearty meal right there compared to what the like mulch that they've been getting. And this is the thing: is it seems like it's equally inhumane just to keep the thing going, the two of them in this cage, or like in any situation. Like if you've got a whole like tank full of fish and you're done with it, and you can't bring yourself to clean it or to take care of it, like just chop them up. That sounds really gross, but like ultimately, you've seen the way that the fish societies work. It's not like they're particularly kind to each other either. Like what's really holding us back? I think it's a very artificial thing for us to say, okay, well, this is a pet, or this is a living thing that I'm not going to eat or benefit from in any other way, so I should keep it alive in this poor little tank. Really throws a question at whether we should be keeping pet fish or not at all, because I can't imagine it's a fantastically pleasant life for them. But then it's hard to say if they would really know the difference anyway. So certainly, if you took a wild fish from like the ocean and put it into a tank, maybe you would know the difference. But like fish that are born in captivity and bred to be pets, they're not going to know the difference between being in there and being outside. And I don't know. It just doesn't seem worth it. Doesn't seem worth it to the fish, because it's not like the fish is going to look back on its life and be like, I was treated unfairly.
Well,
No.
you don't know anything until if you're dead.
Yeah, you don't know anything at all. That's for
But
anything.
that can go for humans
But
too,
we don't want to
exactly.
generalize towards other for humans as well. Yeah. That's not the point that I'm trying to make. But with fish in particular, more intelligent pets would be a little bit more difficult to decide for. But for fish, because there's such a low level of intelligence, I think we can get away with it. I think it's something that's not worth fretting about.
Hmm. Yeah. Did you know that? I think fishes have like 70% of we share like 70%, or at least humans share 70% of DNA, like similarities with fish. So they're actually not that far off. Um, just because they're not, I guess, aware of law. I mean, that they are getting killed or getting slaughtered. Um, is that okay? Because they're not aware of it. I mean, we do have humans that are not capable of um, thinking, or we have non-human things, and things that may be sentient, that are not aware of a lot of the. Well, I guess they wouldn't know that they're under such a threat. So in that terms, is it fair to the fish? And can we actually make that judgment by saying that their lives are, it doesn't really matter because they can't think like we do? Are you flexing your human superiority over them and saying that um, in this world of atoms and all these if you go to, I think it's a nihilistic point of view, or you can be a materialist, and I mean, if you have that point of view in life, you are just a clump of cells that fortunately came together and formed this being with this out of accidents and all that stuff. And what makes you so much different than a fish? And just so should, I mean, wouldn't that any of that come into play?
Yeah, this is probably one of the strongest points you could bring up, where how different it's a living being, right? We share so much DNA. We're all living together, and unfortunately it dies the pragmatic death, because at the end of the day, we're still killing things to eat. That's not going to stop. If you want to let that principle govern your behavior with your fish, with your pet fish, then you have to stop eating fish. You have to stop eating meat, and ultimately, you're going to have to wonder if you can eat anything at all, because everything that you eat is from some kind of living object or living thing. I mean, fish in particular start to blur the line between animal and plant, especially when you get down to like smaller and smaller level. Like what's a starfish? What's an oyster? These sedentary things, or like a sea cucumber. Things get like really confusing. Like, okay, can I farm those to eat them? Well, the answer is yes, of course you can. That's what we do with fish already. So it's hard to see why we would use this kind of like intrinsic or maybe like DNA argument specifically to divide fish, unless the pet fish ended up with like a their DNA changed somehow just because they were pets. And I don't think that that's happened. I don't think any of us believe that that's happened. And so that just seem to be few points that'll keep us from actually killing the things, besides just kind of blind sentimentality. Oh well, it feels bad to do that. I don't know if I really should do that. But beyond that, like really are few principles that should keep us from doing exactly that. And with that, I rest my case. And also with that, yeah. Yeah. Also with that, I believe we're out of time for this week. So thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Monday.
Take care, folks.